probate real estate really refers to any real property that belongs to someone that has passed away and no one else is on title. Hi, my name is Miriam Cruz. I'm a Certified Probate and Trust Specialist, and I will share the ins and outs about probate real estate. Probate happens for many reasons. One of the reasons that is the most common is someone has passed away and the assets, whether it's a house, bank accounts, or other assets are in that person's name. And what happens is when that person passes away, and if no one else is on that title, the person who's filing for probate, the personal representative or the executor or administrator, has to file with the court to become authorized to administer those assets, whether it's to transfer them onto their name or to sell them or to distribute them accordingly. So it's really important to avoid probate because when a family or a friend or whoever files a petition to go through court, goes through probate, they spend a lot of money on legal fees. And here in California, if the assets are in the name of the decedent, the person who passed away, and they're worth more than $184,000, the family or the friend, whoever that might be, will have to file for probate. That usually takes about 12 to 18 months, and it's pretty expensive. So it's really important for someone who has assets that are worth more than $184,000 to create a trust and to also create a will. So everything's in writing. So just in case anything happens to that person, it is documented and the trustee can handle the assets without having to go through probate court. So normally the person who files for probate is filing to become the administrator or the executor. The administrator is a person who files a petition with the court in a situation when there is no will. Executor is someone who files a petition with the court and there is a will. So normally the person that's appointed is either the executor or administrator. And many times people actually hire an attorney to help them with this. The beneficiaries involved in probate are mainly the people that are going to receive some of the assets when the assets are distributed through the probate court. Here in Santa Clara County, it's the civil court in which a family who's going through probate files with the court to get authorization to handle the assets of the decedent. So if the decedent passed away and there was no one else on title of the property, the person who's filing for the probate, who's petitioning the court to become authorized to handle those assets. In probate, I would say the main type of property that we deal with or assets is a home. Here in Santa Clara County, my expertise is selling property, homes for someone who has passed away. The family has to become authorized, or whoever's filing for that probate petition, to sell the assets, which is usually the home. And when the person's selling that asset, they're selling it on behalf of the estate. So it's not going to be the person that representing the estate. It's not their home directly, but they're selling it on behalf of the estate. In probate real estate, there's a lot of types of properties that can be involved. It could be a commercial property, single family, multi-unit, condos, agriculture property. So there's many types of properties that can be involved in probate. Probate real estate really refers to any property belongs to someone that has passed away and no one else is on title. So the initial steps when someone is filing for probate is either filing for probate on their own, which that's considered pro per. Someone goes to the courthouse and files for probate and petitions the court to become the authorized personal representative, or someone can hire an attorney. And it basically starts with a petition in which the person or the attorney files with the court and petitions the court to become the authorized personal representative of the estate. And this again could be an administrator or an executor. Normally, whenever there's assets in probate, there's someone who's appointed to the case and they're assigned by the judge in court, and these are called the referees. In Santa Clara County, we have 4 probate referees who are also licensed, so it has to be someone who's licensed. Their job is to look at the assets and come up with the amount that they believe the assets are worth based off the time of the death of the decedent. So the family, whoever it is that's filing for probate, will list on the inventory and appraisal, it's a court document, how much they believe these assets are worth, and then the referee will do their own research to ensure that they also list how much the assets are worth to determine the value of the whole estate. So really the personal representative, whether it's the administrator or the executor, they have a lot of responsibilities because they are the ones that are going to manage the estate and make sure that any debts are paid, that the assets are taken care of, the real estate is sold if that's what they choose to do, or transferred to their name or someone else's name. So their responsibility is to make sure that they follow the ethical code and ensure that any assets that belong to the decedent are disposed of or transferred accordingly. A personal representative has a huge responsibility, and that's why it's really important to work with people that understand the probate process, especially when selling a property, to make sure that there's no errors, because everything is documented with the court. When a personal representative is in charge of distributing the assets, that could be distributing the funds that are in a bank account, or maybe transferring title to that property. And that includes funds in the bank account. For example, if we sold a home and we listed the home, we're going to put those funds in an estate account. At the end of probate, once the probate is terminated, the court will then issue an order as to how many or what type of assets will be distributed to who. So it's really important for them to keep record of what assets, especially if they're in a bank account or there's a property per se. And basically what they do is either transfer the funds to the people that are going to be receiving the benefits from these funds, the beneficiaries, or transfer the title to the family member. This is all really done by the attorney. Mainly, some people do this again in pro per on their own and take care of probate, but normally the attorney will handle these documents and will make sure that the accounting part of probate, which is done after the property is sold, will be taken care of to make sure that the assets are distributed accordingly. For a deep dive into the probate process, please check out my other videos. It's really important to understand when you can sell property through probate. And normally that happens when the court gives you the authorization, which is called the letters of administration. And that document authorizes the personal representative, which is either the administrator or executor, to sell property. So at that point, it is when someone can sell a property. Before that, they do not have the authorization to do that. So any contract will be void because it is not valid. There are many steps to prepare a home once it's ready to be on the market after getting the letters of administration. And that includes going in there, making repairs, painting, updating, or doing different things inside of the home. It really depends on the property. I normally come up with a list when I go through the property with my client, with my seller. And many times in probate, the family wants to sell as is, so that's also a possibility. Our goal is mainly to come up with the best plan to make the most money for the estate. Doesn't mean a complete remodel, but the goal again is to make sure that the estate is making the most money possible. And for that, it's important to really walk through with someone who is knowledgeable and skilled and understands the process. And again, this has to happen after the court has authorized the family member or the executor administrator to handle the assets. It's really important to market the property aggressively, especially if it's a property that needs a lot of work or a property in which someone has passed away inside. I have had challenges in which people find out that someone passed away inside by either suicide or different things like that, unfortunately, and buyers are concerned to live in that home. So it's really important that when we market a property, we market it accordingly by reaching out to buyers, potential buyers, other agents in the area, social media that's used a lot to market the property. We also do phone calls, text messages. So there's really many ways to reach out to potential buyers, and it really depends on the type of property and where the property is located at. So I work in 8 counties, Santa Clara being one of them. And in this county, it's a pretty hot market, I would say most of the time, but it is important to market aggressively, like I mentioned, to ensure that we get the most money for the property. Whenever we're selling a property through probate, it's really important to follow the court's timelines. Whenever there is a sale, many times we have to file a notice of proposed action. And actually that's the attorney who will do that, or the personal representative who's handling the estate themselves in pro per will file that. But when you're selling a property through probate, it's not like a regular transaction in which you could just sell and close within 7 days. There are usually some timelines that we need to follow. And again, the person has to have the authorization. So it's important to work with someone who's skilled and knowledgeable in probate real estate, because we must follow these timelines and ensure that other heirs are notified or that certain things are followed through. Many times I also get inspections because the personal representative who's selling on behalf of the estate didn't live in the home. So we want to make sure that we protect them. It's important to be aware of that and to follow through the timelines that the court expects us to follow. If you're going through probate in California and need additional support, feel free to reach out on social media or give me a call.